to say these words. I guess it's all my fault. Lay me on the coast, and you're never wrong. Everything's my mistake. Seems like all I've done pushed us far apart. All that we've become. Everything's my mistake. Things my mistake. Things my mistake. Things my mistake. Everything's my mistake.
Left inside him during a stomach
Lucky
operation.
to escape paralysis, Susan Williams was sent home with a broken neck.
Police believe it's possible some addicts were prescribed methadone.
But instead of sending the drug through a tube into his arm, she injected it through
Ministers
one
from the
leading to
Department
his
of
brain.
Health have asked for a
Two
full report.
surgeons from the
once
Bristol
all the
Royal
health
Infirmary were
authorities
struck off following
69-year-old remains in intensive care after having the wrong kidney removed.
There seems to be an epidemic of medical malpractice, yet most doctors see themselves as healers devoted to bettering the lives of patients. It seems that when it comes to medical mistakes, doctors' errors are only the tip of the iceberg. Mistakes are being made at every level, but admitting any error is a medical taboo. The myth of infallibility and the fear of litigation means that no doctor wants to talk about the day they harmed or killed their patient. It has been suggested that unless doctors begin to speak more openly about their mistakes and discuss how they might have been prevented, tens of thousands of people will die from preventable medical mistakes. The government has introduced league tables for hospitals and performance reviews for staff. However, this won't stop medical errors from happening. In many cases, hospitals don't even keep records of mistakes, and there is no central office for data to be collected.
Carey.
We've asked Dr. Carey to demonstrate how easy it can be to get your flu shot.
Tell us, Dr. Carey, any risks associated with this?
Yes, you may experience some mild flu-like symptoms, muscle ache, low fever, but it's really a very safe prophylactic measure.
Now, a week or more of misery is a lot worse than one little shot, isn't it, Dr. K?
Yes, and that's why we recommend flu shots for the elderly, those with chronic illnesses, and anyone taking care of or exposed to sick people.
Wow, that was like butter.
So, what's the other one for?
Tell me she didn't forget to switch needles.
She forgot to switch needles.
Dr. Kovach could have sent Mr. Ames home with antibiotic pills, but he didn't. He assumed that Mr. Ames was unreliable, that he couldn't be trusted, and so Dr. Kovach took responsibility for his care. And then he abandoned that responsibility by subjecting Mr. Ames to substandard conditions in an understaffed ER where that man was shoved into a corner and neglected. And the warning signs of a major stroke were ignored, resulting in a devastating disability. Before the stroke, Mr. Ames was a skilled craftsman. He supported a wife and 2 children. And now, with a paralyzed left arm, loss of perception in his left visual field, that livelihood has been taken away. Loss of income, loss of self-esteem has resulted in profound stress and led to a divorce and separation from his children. Mr. Ames now lives alone. He's trying to get by on a disability benefit of $1,300 a month. He cannot drive. He sees his children 1 day a week, and he is being treated for depression. Your award must fairly compensate Mr. Ames for past and ongoing medical care, for 25 years of lost wages, and for the pain and suffering that this man will experience every day for the rest of his life.
Great Ormond Street is the world's most famous children's hospital. It's built a reputation on expertise and excellence. In 1997, 12-year-old Richie William was getting regular chemotherapy treatment there. He had lymphatic cancer, but had responded well to treatment.
He was on the path to recovery. He was in remission, and so things were looking up. It was great, you know, we've decorated his bedroom, and, you know, he's even gone back to school for a few days.
In July of 1997, Richie was due for his last course of chemotherapy. The treatment consisted of 2 drugs, vincristine, which would be injected into his arm, and methotrexate administered directly into his spine. The anaesthetist, John Lee, who had no experience in chemotherapy treatment, injected both drugs into Rich's spine, including the highly toxic vincristine.
The minute the drug was injected into Rich's spine, he started complaining of pain immediately and started crying.
Richie died in agony 2 days later. Dr. John Lee, who'd given the fatal injection, was charged with manslaughter.
Every doctor makes mistakes. I'm sorry, but everyone does, including nurses. If you're writing prescriptions, doing calculations, drawing up drugs, making up solutions, there is a possibility of error. We double check, we treble check, maybe even more than that, but no system is actually foolproof. There will always be a level of error at some point.
Every single doctor who's practiced for any time at all has made serious errors, serious mistakes, and I think that's a very terrifying thing for doctors. They all know about it, they all empathize with it, and it's often very difficult to talk about it even to other doctors, let alone to the broader world, to patients.
Whereas in the United Kingdom, information concerning medical mistakes is sparse, in America there is some data available. In 1989, a study of errors was conducted at Harvard Medical School.
We looked at 30,000 records chosen from 50 different hospitals in New York State, and we found that nearly 4% of patients had an injury caused by treatment. And when we examined those, we found that 2/3 of those were caused by an error in care and therefore are potentially preventable.
Based on this study, Professor Leap estimated the level of medical errors across the United States. It is estimated that there are 1.3 million patients who suffer an injury every year from treatment, and 180,000 of these people die. 180,000 would be equivalent to 3 filled jumbo jets every 2 days. And if the figures are correct in their estimation, then approximately 2/3 of these deaths are due to errors, meaning that over 100,000 are potentially preventable. In Britain, there is no reason to think that the level of medical error is any different. Though there are no official figures for medical error, the estimates based on American figures suggest that there are some 320,000 medical accidents each year. Now, these directly contribute to the deaths of 40,000 patients. That's 10 times more than people who die each year in road accidents.
We haven't reached the stage of saying, yes, errors happen in a big way. We need to recognize this and do everything we can to reduce it.
Medical errors range from prescription errors in incorrectly administered drugs to surgical mistakes in wrongly interpreted X-rays, and they are caused by the whole scope of medical professionals, ranging from junior doctors to consultants. The first step towards reducing the amount of medical errors made is for doctors to talk openly about their own mistakes.
Don't tell me if I'm dying, 'cause I don't want